After his father's death, he and his mother and his sister, after his baby brother's death as well, he, his father, and his sister moved in with his grandmother and his two unmarried aunts. And that's how little Friedrich Nietzsche would grow up, in a house with 5 women. And putting aside the gender politics of a household like that, it put a tremendous amount of pressure on the boy. Again, his father was a respected minister, patronized by the king. He was a pillar of his community and of his family. Little Friedrich was his father's only son, now that he'd taken little Joseph to the grave with him, and so he was expected by the women in the house to take his father's place. And all the women, even the 2 aunts, these were his father's sisters, not his mother's sisters. And so, they had lost a brother, his mother had lost her husband, and so forth. So there he is, his father's little avatar, and you're kind of expected to take his place. It's a hard thing for a boy to grow up after his father has died in his prime. All anyone remembers is the man at full strength, The mother and others who knew the father, they only remember the good things, or they only want to talk about them anyway, which makes sense. Why would you talk to your son about the times his dead father was a jerk? But the consequence is that instead of a real person for a dad, the boy grows up with this idealized image. And part of becoming a man is, as you grow, you're seeing your father start to slow down, start to see some cracks in his armor, gradually coming to terms with the fact that he's not a god, he's just a man. And so his footsteps are something you can actually follow. And at a certain point, coming to a crossroads in your rise and his decline, where maybe you're actually stronger, more capable than he is, and then shouldering the responsibility that comes with that. The fact that he may need to lean on you now, that you might be the one that the family is counting on. That's part of a healthy process of maturity. When your father dies before you're old enough to have much recollection, and all you grow up with are the stories you hear from people who miss him and only want to honor his memory, then you don't really have a father, you have a god, or something that plays a role in your life very similar to one. And it's very hard to grow up in the shadow of a god, let alone meet everyone's heavy expectations to fill his shoes. I think one of the reasons Nietzsche's writings resonate so much with late adolescent boys and young men is that Nietzsche himself, in many ways, never really developed into a grown man himself. Even up into his late 30s,